recording button here. So the stuff that I've got to share with you tonight is really, really powerful stuff. And I know that a lot of you already know a lot of things internet marketing. You guys and girls probably have more stuff on your hard drives than you need, right, to have success. And so I think it's important once in a while to do these mindset check trainings, because I'm going to tell you something right now. If it wasn't for me doing them to myself, I wouldn't be where I am today. And some of you know my story and some of you don't. I've gone through a lot of struggle. I've declared 2 bankruptcies in my life. I had a really terrible motorcycle accident in 1997. That was the cause of the first bankruptcy. Having that motorcycle accident threw me into a financial tailspin. And my mom and dad refused to help me out at the time because they told me not to buy the motorcycle. And when I came to them for help, they said, Anthony, we told you not to buy the motorcycle. You got to get yourself out of this mess. At that time, I did not like them very much for doing that to me. I was in my early 20s. But looking back now, that was the best thing that they could have done for me, because that taught me how to crawl out of my first hole. And then the second bankruptcy had to do with I just owned a ton of real estate. I had a real estate brokerage. I did 2 of them. I had one in Boston and one in Orlando. And the market just fell out from under us. And we never saw it coming because we had a lot of real estate websites and they were all generating a ton of leads. And, we just never saw it coming. Like, literally, we were at the closing table one day to close a real estate deal. And the escrow agent came out and said that the bank couldn't fund the loan. And I was like, what do you mean the bank can't fund the loan? I have A-rated credit clients here. I was shocked. And she's like, well, yeah, it's not your clients. The bank went out of business. And that, I will never forget that. It was February 2007, and that happened literally with every single deal we had in our pipeline. They all just one right after the other fell apart. I had about almost $900,000 in savings at that time, and I tried to keep the doors open. The longest that I could keep the business open was till about August of 2007. I burned through all that cash to a lot of property. I burned through all the cash to keep leads coming in, to just try to see if I could make something happen, to pay our payroll. And eventually I just had to close up shop, completely broke in July of 2007. But because of that bad thing that happened to me, thank God it happened to me, because it opened up a whole new opportunity into creating my very first information product. And in 2007, I did not know that I was going to be here today talking with you all about internet marketing and how to create info products and how to do SEO and all that stuff. And, and if it wasn't for me doing these mindset checks throughout all these bad things that happened to me, I wouldn't be here today. Like, I was on a ledge. And the thing is, all that financial loss doesn't even compare to what happened next. My dad in January of 2008 had an aortic dissection, and he was airlifted to Shands Medical Center. My parents lived near Daytona, and Shands Medical Center is in Gainesville, where University of the Florida Gators are. And he was airlifted there, and they stabilized him, and then he had a cardiac arrest like 4 days later. He did not sign a do not resuscitate form when he came in, and he ended up being in a coma for 6 months. It was a terrible thing to go through. I was trying to get my life started down in Miami. I was trying to get into doing foreclosures with the banks, and I now found myself 6 hours away from where my home base was, helping my family, which is what I had to do. It was my obligation. I had to be there for my mother, and I had to help her get through what she was going to get through. And they were in the middle of rebuilding one of their Dunkin' Donuts stores that got hit by a freaking tornado. I mean, I could write a book about the tragedies that have happened in my life. So, they're in the middle of rebuilding this store that had got hit by a tornado in 2007. And so, I had to take over that whole project with contractors and stuff. And I am not a handy person. I'm a computer nerd. So it was very, very, very hard to deal with all that stuff. And then my dad died, May 2008. That sucked. And then a year later, my niece got the swine flu, and then she died. And then I went through a divorce. And it's just one thing after another. I was in a dark place. I was pretty close to committing suicide, like just giving up and being like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I can't take any more of this shit. That's how bad it was. But luckily, I turned to fixing my mindset. I just turned to like reaching deep within myself and coming out of it, and not committing suicide, which would be stupid, right? That would be a dumb thing to do. That would like make things even worse for my mom and my sisters, and it's a selfish thing to do, right? So, but it's one of these things. I'm being 100% transparent with you, and you just get so low and so depressed, and you feel like such a failure that you start to think like you just can't get out and you can't hit rock bottom. And I'm here to tell you, if any of you are in this kind of a situation right now where, you're at rock bottom and you're just taking hit after hit after hit, I want you to know, first of all, don't commit suicide. That's a crazy thing to do, number one. Number two, you need to know that it's okay to hit rock bottom, because the only thing that's next is going up, right? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you 2 words that Navy SEALs live by for massive success in everything that they do. I don't know if you know anything about Navy SEALs, but these guys are not just like extremely athletic and resilient body-wise. These guys are some of the smartest people in the world, guys that have 4.0 grade point averages. These are brilliant people. They speak multiple languages. They're extremely intelligent in mathematics. So these aren't like dumb jocks who have like fantastic physical resilience, okay? And it's important that you understand that these guys are like, they are the elite of the elite, not just in their physical attributes, but also in their mental attributes. And these guys live by 2 simple words, okay? And I'm going to share those words with you. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, just so that I can stay focused on our content, because I'm going to leave a lot of time open for questions, because this isn't going to be a very long presentation. So I'm not going to answer any questions right now, because I kind of want to just get through the content, and then I'm going to leave a lot of time open for questions. And this is all about you today. It's not about me. This is about you, okay? All right, so I'm going to do what's called opening a loop. And this is something that we do in marketing, and you got to get good at opening loops, okay? They do this with soap operas. They do this with really good TV shows like 24 and Scandal and Blacklist. They open up storylines and they leave you hanging. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to open up a loop. I'm not going to tell you what the 2 words are just yet. You're going to be wondering and you're going to be paying attention. But everything connects, okay? Everything that we're doing here connects. All right, so the first thing that I want to go over with you, and this is inspired by speaking with Alan this morning. Alan's actually on this call. Alan's one of my longtime students. He's become a friend of mine. Really smart guy, works really hard, has massive desire towards becoming successful, has faced ups and downs. And he's inspired me to talk about this and add this today to what I'm sharing with you all. And I know that some of you have seen this before, but we have a tendency as humans to make things really complicated, and we forget about this. We don't realize that this is the basic online sales formula, and what we do is we get away from it. Like, we get wrapped up in all this other stuff, and we get away from the core of what we need to do to make money online. And this is the core of what we need to do to make money online. We need traffic, right? Oh crap, I did this wrong. We need an offer, right? And we need conversions. So sales is conversions. So I messed that up. Forgive me. We need traffic plus an offer equals sales, equals conversions, okay? Now, I can bet most of you are focusing on the traffic part. Give me a 1 if you are focusing on the traffic part, because I guarantee you that's what most of you are doing. And it's okay. You be honest with me, because this is how I'm going to help you. Most of you are focused on the traffic part. Most of you don't even know what you're selling yet. Most of you are thinking like this, you know what? Let me get this traffic thing figured out first, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to sell. Tell me if I'm right, or if I know that I'm right, because I talk to a lot of people, and And most of you are focused on the traffic part. You don't even know what you're selling, right? John says yes. Mel says yes. And I won't say your last name. I'll just say your first name. Thomas says yes. This is important that you take ownership in this, because we got to get this fixed, right? A lot of people think that they have a traffic problem, right? And that's not the case at all. They have an offer problem. See, I first learned this a couple of years ago from a guy who sold over $200 billion online. He was a mentor of mine, a guy named Perry Belcher. And, I went to Perry. I said, Perry, I got this massive problem. I'm just not getting enough traffic. He was like, what do you mean you're not getting enough traffic? And, and I said, I'm just not getting enough traffic to my offers. And then he's like, well, what are your offers? And then we kind of went over the offers. He's like, listen, man, you don't have a traffic problem. You have an offer problem, okay? You need to make your offers juicy. They need to be so juicy that the traffic is going to swarm to them like flies do to raw meat, right? And I was scratching my head. I didn't understand what he meant at first. And then he could tell that I was perplexed when he told me that, because of the look on my face, and I'm sitting there kind of scratching my head. I'm trying to understand. He said, listen, Anthony, he's like, if you go and look at the top ClickBank offers right now, those offers, the reason that they're number one on ClickBank, it's not because of the amount of traffic that they have. It's because those guys have put together an amazing offer that everybody wants. And because everybody wants it, all the affiliates want to promote it. The affiliates' greed kicks in, right? Affiliate greed kicks in because they know that everybody wants this offer, and then affiliates do whatever it takes to promote that offer. So now their traffic problem is solved, because everybody and their mother wants to promote the offer because it's a super hot offer, because everybody wants the offer. Okay, so you don't have a traffic problem, Anthony. You have an offer problem, okay? So, an offer can be anything too, right? Let's not get this confused and think that it's just a ClickBank offer. That's the example that he gave me. I'm repeating the story as it happened, right? And that was the best way for him to explain it to me. And so this happens with local consultants, the reason that they're not able to sell their SEO services, the reason that they're not able to get online businesses to work with them is because they don't know how to craft a juicy enough offer. They don't know how to present the offer to the client. So if you have a really juicy offer, as an example, if you're a local consultant, you have a really juicy offer, and the offer is so good, when you present it to the customer, they're going to take it. More times than not, they're going to take it. So that solves your traffic problem, because then you don't need a lot of traffic to get the conversions, okay? Now, I know that this may seem fundamental, but it's important for me to take a 2x4 and smash you on the butt and bring you back to basics, because your mind gets convoluted with overwhelm with everything that's happening in our marketplace, okay? Now, this can happen for anything. A lot of you have invested in Surplify, right? So you could create an irresistible offer with a website like that, for example. There's a big market for people that want to buy websites that have tons of pages and have long-tail keyword traffic. So you could start a business building out these websites that have, that just dominate the whole state of Florida for pest control, right? Pest control is huge in Florida. It's a recurring income business. The lifetime customer value is huge. Their profit margins are huge. So you could create Florida's best pest control, and you could just create a site that's got thousands of pages with all the hundreds of cities in Florida, thousands of keywords. You could take that site and you could go to a Nolan Pest Control, who just dominates most of Florida already, and sell them a website like that and make thousands of dollars, right? So that's an irresistible offer for a company like Nolan, who has a lot of market share and wants more market share, who wants to be more prolific, right? So it's about, it can be with anything. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because the big takeaway is that I want, when you leave here tonight, to start thinking about how to either create an irresistible offer or how to find an irresistible offer to promote. Because if you get that part right, the other stuff takes care of itself. So many of you are really concerned with knowing everything before like getting your offer ready. I'm telling you, if you get your offer ready, all the other stuff will fix itself. Like that, you won't have to know as much as you think you need to know to have the success that you need to have. Okay. Now, how many of you have buy buttons out there? None of this is meant to insult anybody. This is a judgment-free zone. I can't help you if I judge you. I'm not a judger. This is not about me judging you. This is not about me busting your chops. This is just about making you realize and having you take ownership in realizing what you need to do to have success. So if none of you have buy buttons out there, how the hell are you going to sell anything? You can't sell anything if there's no buy buttons, right? You know who I learned this from? I learned this from Ron Douglas. If y'all don't know who Ron Douglas is, he is a New York Times best-selling author, and he told me this in 2011. He's a very good friend of mine. He owns America's Secret Recipes. So this guy's built a multi-million-dollar brand selling cookbooks that sell America's restaurants' secret recipes. So he's got like all of like the Cheesecake Factory's secret recipes, all of P.F. Chang's secret recipes. He's got cookbooks that have all these secret recipes to all these awesome restaurants, right? It's made millions of dollars. And I learned this from him in 2011. You know, you've got to have a lot of buy buttons out there. If you don't have a lot of buy buttons out there, you're not going to make any money, right? So a buy button doesn't have to be your own product, right? This is not about you going out and creating a product. A buy button, you know, it could be an affiliate link that leads to a buy button, right? So how many affiliate links you got out there on the internet, right? Yeah. And if you're an affiliate, you have to have, so like here's another formula that I didn't put on here that's just coming to me now. If you are an affiliate marketer, you need to have at least 10 times more links on the internet that lead back to your affiliate offer than a product creator does. Does anybody know why? The reason why a product creator needs to have less links out there than an affiliate marketer. Because the product creator has a shitload of affiliates dropping the links for them. Just another thing to think about, right? This is going to be about little shifts in your mindset and in your thinking to just get you thinking about how to eventually position yourself. You know, I started out as an affiliate in 2002. I used to promote luxury hotel offers through a company called World Choice Travel. They had a white label hotel affiliate program. And eventually I started generating leads from my own service, which was my real estate company in 2003. And then I still did some affiliate stuff. But, you know, I created my first information product in 2007. So it was like 5 years later after I discovered online marketing. And when I created the REO kit, which was my first product, we had so many affiliates. Basically what we did was when people came in and bought our product, we also taught them how to be affiliates for our product. And then as soon as like that started to happen, I found myself having to worry less and less about traffic because my affiliates were taking care of it for me, right? So an affiliate's got to put out 10 times more links because you don't, like as an affiliate, you don't own the product. So you like, it's all about being prolific. Like you have got to like have a lot of links out there that come back, that push you to the affiliate offer that you're promoting. My suggestion is to always try to insulate that with a squeeze page so that you can build a list. And, you know, even if you don't know what the heck you're going to say to that list, at least start building it and just start testing what you're going to say to them. Because if it's one thing I wish I had to learn how to do sooner was build a list, and every internet marketer will tell you that. If you ask most internet marketers, if you were to do everything all over again, what would you do? And they all say, I would have started building a list sooner. So, you know, just some things to think about. So, you know, a lot of links out there that come back to your squeeze page. And then you can start dropping a lot of buy buttons to affiliate offers. So this is important. How many of you are market focused versus product focused? So what this means is most people I talk to are focused on selling a product. So they come to me and they're like, Anthony, I got this product and I'm trying to sell it. And I've spent all this money on SEO and the website is ranking on the first page for how to lose weight super fast. And I'm paying for ads on Facebook and nobody's buying my product. Nobody's buying it. And then I look at the product and I'm like, well, did you do any research to see if the market wanted this product? And they're like, no, it was an idea that I had and I thought it was a good idea. So I created a product and I launched the product and I put all this money out and I thought people would buy it because I thought they would like it like me. So the difference between being market focused and product focused is is reverse engineering, is figuring out if the market, if there's a market for what you're selling. Okay. So like, for example, I talk a lot about servicing local businesses because I know for a fact that that's a huge market. In fact, over the next 3 years, businesses are going to spend something like $80 billion on SEO over the next 3 years. Their new businesses are not the present, they're present businesses, but new businesses are going to spend $80 billion over the next 3 years on SEO. So that's a huge market, right? So you only need to carve out a little bit of that market and you could set yourself up for the rest of your life. Versus trying to sell email marketing to a business. Not that that's a bad thing to sell, but it's a little bit more complicated and it's a little bit more like businesses don't understand email marketing because they're still struggling to get leads, right? So it's not as good of an offer. It's like, for example, trying to sell root beer to a market of people that love lemonade. There's no matter what, you're never going to be able to sell them that root beer. They're just not going to buy it because they love lemonade, okay? And so businesses, for example, are just so caught up right now in getting leads, whether through pay-per-click on AdWords or getting leads through SEO, that if you tried to sell them email marketing, they're going to look at you like you got 10 heads. They're going to be like, what? Who am I going to send emails to, right? So you got to be market focused. So how do you do that? How do you become market focused? How do you know what a market wants to buy? Well, obviously it depends what market you want to be in, right? So like weight loss, or like, do you want to be in like the make money online space, or do you want to be in the meditation space or the yoga space or the self-help space? It's about figuring out what space you want to be in first, obviously, and then going and doing your market research. No, most of the people I talk to do not do market research. They do not know who their competitors are. They do not know who the leaders in the market are. They do not know what the leaders in the market are selling, right? So, and I don't blame anybody for that. It's boring, right? Give me a 1 if you think market research is boring. I'm going to type in a 1 myself, okay? I'm going to type in a 1, and I'm going to send it to all of you, right? It's boring as all get out, right? It's like trying to read a law book. It's freaking terrible. I had to take legal business ethics in college, and it sucked. And we had this like 85-year-old man teach it too, man. He was a snoozer. It's terrible. Market research is boring. However, here's the perspective that I need for you to have with it that has helped me a lot. It's not market research, it's digging for gold. Start thinking about it as digging for gold. That's what you're doing. How many of you would be excited if we were like, in an area where people are mining for gold and one guy discovers gold in one part of an area, and how many of you would all of a sudden like start running to where that guy is to start digging for gold, right? We all would, right? And it becomes exciting now because we know that there's gold around there. So just, in your brain, just start thinking about, instead of it being market research, we're digging for gold. And so how do you do that? What you do is you got to first of all, just use Google. Like whatever it is, whatever niche you want to be in, start searching in Google. You need to track You need to track the ads that are showing up on Google, right? You need, and you can use something like SpyFu. So SPY, let's type that in really quick, SPY, spyfu.com, and they have like a free version. And you can go into spyfu.com and you can research ads that have been running on Google, and you can see ads that have been running on Google AdWords for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days. If someone has been spending money on an ad for 180 days, you know that they're selling the shit out of whatever it is that they're buying for that ad. Okay? Excuse my language. I get passionate and sometimes I just lose it a little bit. So, you got something hot right there. So your next step is looking at what that company is, okay? And looking at the offer that they're selling. What is it that they're selling? What's the price point that they're selling it at? How can you do what they're doing if it's a market you want to be in, right? How can I do what they're doing, right? Who's the number 2 guy? Who's the number 3 guy? What are they doing that what do they all have in common that's causing them to have this success? You know that somebody's having success if they're spending money on ads, and they're spending money on ads over and over and over again and again and again and again. You know that they are having success, or they wouldn't keep spending money on those ads. I mean, how many of you would keep spending money on ads if the product wasn't selling? Nobody in here would, right? Most of you would not do that. Most of you would not spend any money on an ad if after like 7 days you got no sales. You drove like 1,000 clicks. You'd stop. You'd kill the campaign, right? So think about that. It's really important. Another thing is looking in the marketplaces. So look in the ClickBank marketplace. Amazon is an amazing place to see like what is selling a lot, just based on the reviews, right? eBay is another place also where you can just see how many reviews things have. You can see like, where else is good? Oh, if you're selling physical products, you go to Alibaba Express and you can see how many orders products have had. If they've had a ton of orders, that's a hot product that you need to be selling. JVZoo, you can look at the best sellers list. You can queue up products, the best-selling products, and you can like queue them up by SEO. You can queue them up by Facebook. You can queue them up by email marketing, and you can just see like what people are selling a lot of. And like it's interesting. You'll see like sometimes someone launches a product 6 months ago that was like a bestseller in a particular thing on JVZoo. And then 6 months later, you'll see something just like that product, different name, different brand, has maybe 1 or 2 more features than what they had. And even though that other product, a ton of people bought that product 6 months ago, almost everybody that bought that product 6 months ago is going to buy the new one. Why are they going to buy the new one? Because it's the brand new Corvette, right? It's the brand new BMW, right? So it's got all the new features and it's the latest and greatest, and people want new. People want new. There was this study done where men and women were asked if your car was practically brand new inside and it just needed a new paint job. The engine was perfect. There was no problems. It ran brilliantly. There was nothing wrong mechanically with it. Inside it was impeccable. It just needed a new paint job. Would you paint the car or would you go buy a new car? What do you think most people said? What do you think most people said? A, would you paint the car, or B, would you go buy a new car? Another study. A, would you fix your marriage or would you go have an affair? B, A, fix your marriage, or B, go have an affair? B, people would go have an affair. B, people would go buy the new car. People want new. The majority of people want new. They want new. They don't want to fix what they have. And so that's why you'll see, if you just pay attention to what's going on in JVZoo, and what's going on in, even in like ClickBank, you'll see like for a while there was 2 diabetes products that were in the top 5. It was like Diabetes Destroyer and Diabetes Healing Secrets or something. And they were both killing it because anybody who bought the Diabetes Destroyer was buying the other one, right? It's the whole McDonald's Burger King theory, right? So just understand that, like, in other words, the point of what I'm trying to say is if someone has already created what you have created, don't fret. If people are selling a lot of it, that means there is a market for it and you can elbow your way in and take a percentage of that. So you want to become market focused and not product focused, because you're going to make a lot more money and you're going to make a lot less mistakes if you figure out what a market wants and you give it to them instead of trying to just have an idea for an awesome product and trying to force the market to buy it. Okay, a couple things that are really important that I want to go over. This is the most important secret. The most important secret to success is having desire. This is uber important, but a lot of people don't know how to create desire in their lives. And a lot of people flounder and go from shiny object to shiny object because they think they have desire, but they really don't have, they may have the initial step of desire, but they haven't done all the things required to stay focused with their desire. So we're just going to kind of cover those things really quick just to help you out, right? So the most important secret is having desire. It's not hope, right? Not hope, okay? It's not wishes, okay? Hope nor wishes are going to get you what you want. It's a pulsating, never-ending desire. That's what's going to get you what you want. So how do you light the fire to your desire? So step one is you have got to create an exact number of what you want. Don't be fuzzy. Now, there's a couple of things here that are really important. You've got to have like your big number, right? Like we have our big 5-year number in our house, but we also have our 1-year number, and we have our 6-month number, and we have our 30-day number, okay? So, if it's a little overwhelming to you right now, I would recommend that you not worry about the very big number, the 5-year number. I would recommend you not worry about the 1-year number, and I would recommend you not worry about the 6-month number. I would recommend that you worry about the next 30 days. And my wife and I do this every single month on the first of the month. And this is the craziest exercise that we do. It's so crazy. I can't even explain how insane it is. And I tell people all this all the time. And the craziest thing about this is we pick our monthly number at the beginning of the month, and then we break down, and I'm going to share these steps with you. We do this it does not take any time, and it's a fun exercise to do, right? We call it making up money. Right, that's what we call our exercise. We make it fun, making up money, okay? And the craziest thing about this is every month we come up with our number, and then we break down the different things that we're going to do to get to that number. And here's what's absolutely crazy. The things that we break down that are going to get us to that number, we say, okay, well, we're going to do this project and it's going to generate this much money, project A, and then project B is going to generate this much money, and project C is going to generate this much money. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have this much money. So here's what's crazy. Project A doesn't generate as much as we thought. It generates less. Project B generates way more than we thought. Project C generates what we thought. And at the end of the month, we end up with the same dang number. And then, maybe this happens sometimes. Something comes out of the blue that we didn't expect, where an opportunity comes up to do something for another project, and we make a decision on whether or not we can execute it within the end of the month, and we do or we don't. If we do and we execute it, boom, we'll get like a little extra cash. It'll make up for the other, like let's say project A, B, and C were not great, and then this other project comes out of the blue that we didn't expect, and it makes up for our number. And it's so freaking crazy how many times we end up either really close to the number by a little bit, at the number, or over the number. But we never miss the number by like less than 50% or less than 75%. It's always like we're at like 95% of the number. We're either at the number or we're at like 110%. It's insane. Like, it is crazy. Like, you have to do this exercise and do it for 30 days out. And I always tell people to not worry about the overwhelming big number because it can be daunting. So just chunk it down to 30 days and do this every 30 days, making up money, right? That's what we call it, making up money. And it gets us to do it, and it's fun to do. My wife's in my business, so you may not want to do it with your wife, but you might want to do it with your wife or your significant other or your girlfriend or your husband. You may want to do it with them because you want them to support you in what you're doing. Okay, so stop setting goals. Goals are pure fantasy unless you have a specific plan to achieve them, all right? So you got to pick an exact number. Pick something that's attainable for the first 30 days. Don't pick something that's out of reach, okay? Step two, you need to know what value you're going to give in return. There's no free lunch. So try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. So obviously man, woman, of value. Albert Einstein was speaking to men back then, but women are just as smart, if not smarter than men. I believe that women are way smarter than us. I grew up with 3 sisters, and they were some clever chicks. Let me tell you, the stuff that they came up with, and it just made me realize that they're just way smarter than me. Anyways, you got to know what value you're going to give, right? So what are you going to do in exchange to get the money? Right? It's amazing how many people are thinking that they are going to just push some buttons and not give any value and make some money. You can push some buttons, but you got to make sure that on the other end of that button pushing, there's some value that you're giving. You got to give some sort of a value. And like as an example, I'll use being an affiliate marketer as an example. How can an affiliate marketer give value to somebody, right? And so if you think about it, like affiliate marketers that do really well are affiliate marketers that, for example, provide really good reviews and really good insights of a product. If you do a really good job of providing reviews and insights of a product, people are going to buy from you, right? And another way you can provide value is giving someone an incentive to buy from you, right? Like a bonus package, right? A call with you. If someone is tuned in to you and they buy something from you, they obviously like you, right? The affiliates that make the most money are the affiliates that drive people to a landing page first, warms them up and gets them to buy the product. So many people come to me and they're like, Anthony, I'm failing miserably on affiliate marketing. What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, well, are you driving the traffic right to the offer, or are you driving the traffic to a landing page first and warming them up? And guess what 99.9% of them are doing? They're all driving traffic right to the offer. They have their affiliate link. They're putting their affiliate link everywhere, and it's going right to the offer. They're providing no value. They're not warming the people up. If y'all stick around till the end, there's no pitch, right? This is not a trick. I just don't want to go off a tangent here. If you stick around to the end, I'll show you an example of a campaign, the Simplify campaign, where I warmed everybody up. I gave everybody a lot of insight into the product. I got everybody feeling comfortable about the product. You will see how insane my conversion rates are for the product. Again, right, the right offer, like we talked about earlier, creating the right offer allowed it so that I didn't need to have a lot of traffic to have 40-something% conversion rate to selling that product, right? So you've got to give value. There's all kinds of ways to give value. Like in local marketing, I tell people to give a free ranking of the business. Do a business, get the businesses, get a video on the first page for the business name review. That is like such a valuable offer for a business, because a keyword like your business name review may not get a lot of traffic, and us as internet marketers may not see value in that, but a business owner sees a lot of value in their business name review, having a video about their business, saying how awesome their business is, okay? Because every single customer matters to that business. Everybody who's searching that business name review and sees a video about their business and how awesome their business is, it means a lot to them, right? So you're giving value to them. You're proving to them that you can do what you're going to offer to them. All right, step 3, you have to decide on a date so you can turn on your mind, right? This is like why my wife and I do this at the beginning every month, and we give ourselves 30 days to hit our number, because what it does is it forces her and me to sit down and plan out what our month is going to look like and what we're going to do to get to that number. We do it every month. We do it, okay? We do our making up money exercise every month, and we just lay out how we're going to do it. And you got to get your mind working on this stuff, because if you focus in on it, your brain is going to marinate on it all the time. Like, it will become relentless. Like, your brain like, it's like a computer, right? It has RAM, and it's like, it's working, your conscious is working on what's happening right now in front of you, like you're driving your car, right? You're eating your food, you're talking to your family. That's all stuff that's happening right now consciously. However, you also have a subconscious brain, right? That's like what's going on in the background. And so if you focus in on the amount and what you're going to provide in value and a date, right? Your subconscious brain is not going to let go of how to get you to that number by that date. I'm telling you. And I know that this is not just me. It's other people that I have taught this to and that have done it and have taken action on it have had massive success with it. So this is not like a fluke. And this, what I'm sharing with you, is what 500 millionaires and billionaires, they do this exercise. They all have this in common. Now, if I told you that 500, and this is the truth, 500 millionaires and billionaires across the world did this as an exercise, is this something that you want to consider doing? Like this, what I'm sharing here with you, step 1, step 2, step 3, right? Is this something that you think you need to start doing? They all have this in common. They all do this. Don't you think that you need to don't you think that it's important for you to make this a priority? Give me a 1 if you think that this is important for you to make this a priority. Alan says yes. John says yes. CB says yes. Paul says yes. Danny says yes. I'm going to tell you who taught me this. Mark says yes. Ron says yes. Paul, Lance, Lloyd. Okay, you know who taught me this? Has anyone ever heard of a book that sold over 30 million copies called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? So Napoleon Hill in the 1930s was asked by Mr. Andrew Carnegie, steel tycoon of the world, billionaire tycoon of the world. Andrew Carnegie asked Napoleon Hill to go interview the richest men and women in the world at that time, okay? And Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 millionaires and billionaires, and they all had 13 principles in common, okay? The first principle is having desire, right? So you can't worry about the other 13 principles. We're not going to cover all of them tonight because it's pretty extensive stuff. You can't do number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't do any of the other ones, okay, until you have mastered the first one, which is desire, okay? Now, it's a hard book to read. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably one of the hardest books to read because it was written in the 1930s. And even to this day, my millionaire mentors, it is like their business Bible. So it's very, very important. I will say this, the best way to get your head around that book is you go on Amazon and there are some audios called Think and Grow Rich in a Minute. Just order those audios. I'm going to put that right now in the chat box. They're not expensive. It's just order them, Think and Grow Rich in a Minute. It doesn't take long to go through it. I think it's something like an hour and a half. And they lay out all 13 principles for you, and they put some good stories in there to help you. I listen to that thing over and over and over and over and over again and again and again. It's very, very important, but you shouldn't even worry about the 13 until you get the desire thing down, right? This is the core of everything, is the desire part. This is what's going to keep you focused to getting what you want. Okay, so step 4 is you got to create a plan and act immediately, right? So this is kind of what my wife do is we create our plan, how we're going to provide value, and then the things that we're going to do. We chunk it down to 30 days, right? 30 days is good. It's short, it's sweet, it's quick. It keeps you on track. It keeps the procrastination away, right? And it allows you to take imperfect action because imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Think about what I'm saying here, right? If you don't do anything, what is your result going to be? Your result is going to be nothing, okay? But if you take an action, like if I know what I have to do in the next 30 days and I just got to go without thinking about it, what ends up happening is I get a result. It may not be the result that I wanted, but I get a result. And that data that I get from that result allows me to immediately course correct, and it tells me what I need to do and what I need not to do. I now know what not to do because I took action, I got a result, It was not the result that I expected, but okay, I got to shift this really quick. I got to stick and move, Anthony, and now I know what not to do. I got to go do this instead. Okay, and that really, really helps me, right? Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Okay. You got to just start doing stuff, right? Like you got to start putting buy buttons out there. You got to stop dropping your affiliate links in as many places as possible. You got to start coming up with your 30-day plan. You got to have your number. What's your number? What are you giving in value, right? Step 5, make your statement of intent in writing with your amount, your date, and your plan. So by recording your dreams and goals on paper, you set in motion the process of becoming the person you most want to be. Put your future in good hands. Something magical happens when you take something out of your brain and you write it down on paper. It becomes real when you write it down on paper. It becomes real. It is no longer floating around in your head. You have used your senses to write down and see it and feel it and look at it. It is no longer swimming around in your blank head, okay? So your statement of intent is what we just talked about. The amount, right? The date, your 30 days, what your plan is, what you're going to give in value. You've got to write this stuff down, right? Listen, if you're not willing to do this, you're never going to have what you want. I'm telling you right now. You are not. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 freaking years, okay? And it wasn't until I started doing this stuff that I started to have ridiculous success. And the reason that I started to do this stuff is because my mentors started to tell me to do this stuff, guys that were making millions of dollars more than me. And they started telling me about the Think and Grow Rich book. And then I started reading the book. And then I started doing, well, 500 millionaires are doing this. Millionaires and billionaires are doing this across the world. Well, then I need to be doing this too. Right? Okay. So the step 6, this is the most important step. This is the most important step. This is where most people drop the ball with all the hard work. You've got to read it out loud when you get up in the morning and before you go to bed every single freaking day. You got to look at what you're going to be providing in value, the amount that you want to generate in the next 30 days, how you're going to do it. You've got to do every day. You got to get up and you have to have it by your bedside. Keep your paper there, look at it, and you got to say it out loud. Why do you got to say it out loud? Because you need to hear it. You need to see it. You need to touch the piece of paper. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. This is absolutely 100% true. And this is how. So what happens? So what's the next thing? The next principle in the Think and Grow Rich book, principle number 2, is out of the 13 principles is you got to have faith, right? You have to have faith in what you're doing. So step 1 is desire. Step 2 is having faith. So how the heck do you have faith? How do you keep the faith? This right here is how you keep your faith. This is how you stop going down rabbit holes. This is how you stop buying shiny objects. This is how you stop quitting, is by reading out loud what your statement of intent is. This takes you like 30 seconds to a minute every day. The reason you want to do this when you get up and the reason you want to do this when you go to bed is because your brain is coming out of a theta state and it's like a direct pathway to your subconscious. And then your subconscious is where your self-image lies. So if you have a crummy self-image of yourself, and I can't do image of yourself, I'm going to blame the rest of the world because I am not where I want to be image of yourself, then that's how it's going to keep me in. So how do you change that self-image of yourself is you start to program your plan into your subconscious every single day when you're in a theta state. If you don't believe me, look it up, the different states, the different frequencies of the brain, and at the different points that your brain is at during the day. Theta, alpha, data. I've studied this stuff extensively because I know how powerful it is. Listen, there's plenty of proof that this stuff works. It doesn't matter where you're from or how old you are, if you're rich or you're poor, if you're smart or not. It doesn't matter. Henry Ford, I don't know if y'all know this, but the guy was a farmer. Okay, he was a little farm boy. And by the time Henry Ford died, they say that his fortune today would be worth $200 billion. You would be the richest man in the world today, Henry Ford. And this is a guy who was a farm boy without any education whatsoever. Okay, so an average person with average talents and ambition without education can outstrip the most brilliant genius in our society if that person has clear, focused goals. Mary K. Ash. 1,001 no's. Colonel Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, got 1,009 no's before the 1,010th person said yes to his chicken recipe. How many of you after 500 no's would say, shit, I think my recipe's terrible? How many of you, I know I probably, I'll be honest with you, I probably would. I probably would say after 500 no's, I would say my chicken recipe sucks. I think I'm going to go back to the drawing board. Not Colonel Sanders. He kept freaking going. He got 509 more no's. He died a billionaire. Okay? And this guy's got a crazy story. If you ever read his story, it's pretty freaking nuts how crazy this guy's story is. I would cook something else. Exactly, CB. Exactly, right? So, and then check this out. The light bulb. We would be in the dark today if Thomas Edison hadn't kept going. This is his perspective. Like, look at this man's perspective. I did not fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. What an amazing mindset. What an amazing mindset, right? I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. This morning when I had my call with Alan, I told Alan, Alan's on this call. I told Alan this morning, I said, Alan, you don't even know the failures that go on in our household. But here's what keeps me going. I know that after every failure, because see, what happens is there's one win out of all those failures, and that win is so big that it just trumps all the little shitty failures that we have. And I'm not talking about like huge failures that are going to put me bankrupt. I'm just talking about, I have an idea, I take action on it, it fails. Boom, I move on. Okay, I know that didn't work. I got it out of my head. I can move on to something else because I know it didn't work, right? But that doesn't mean I move on to something else. That means that like I attack it in a different way. The way that I was thinking about attacking it didn't work. Okay, I got to attack it in a different way, right? It doesn't mean that I just give up completely on what my end goal is with what I'm trying to do. It just means that the way that I attacked it didn't work. I got to do something in a different way. And for example, I've got a site right now that gets about 1,000 visitors a day. Some of you have seen it. I've shown it to some of you. It's in the weight loss niche. It gets 1,000 visitors a day, and I can't get that site to convert worth the shit. And I've tested out so many different offers, but I still haven't given up. I've tested out different designs. I've tested out different copy. I've tested out different offers. And I'm not going to give up because I got another site that's a celebrity weight loss site that's doing almost a couple $1,000s a day. So it's just, one is a testosterone booster for men, and I can kind of resonate with that audience, so I know what to put in front of them. The other one is a weight loss for women, and that's the one I'm struggling with, right? But I know that if I get that site to hit, it's going to be a $2,000 a day site. So, there's tons of failures going on in my house, but the way that I look at it is, instead of looking at it as a failure, the way that I think about it is I'm just, I'm one step closer to getting that huge win that I need, okay? So a lot of this stuff is just screwing with your brain. It's like hacking your brain. It's tricking your brain. And I lost it all twice, right? Like, I'm not sitting here preaching to y'all without, like I talked about this at the beginning. I'm not sitting here preaching to y'all without having had the experience of losing it all, right? And I don't share this with you. I don't want you to feel bad for me. That's not the point. The point of me sharing this with you is so that I'm a real human being, and I know what it feels like to lose it all. Not just financially, but like, lose family members and then lose, get divorced and lose your dog. And, I know what that's like. I know what, and it sucks. And the only reason I am here is because of this stuff that I'm teaching you, like the 6 steps that I just taught you saved me. Studying people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford and Colonel Sanders and Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie, and just constantly filling my mind with things that are going to keep me on track, keep me focused, keep me to getting what I want. Okay, so remember, it all comes back to having traffic, having an offer, and then getting sales, right? So the only reason you're not having sales is because something is missing with your traffic and something is missing with your offer. My guess is most of you are focused on traffic and you're not focused on your offer, right? You're not focused on how to get that offer to convert into a sale if you don't have the offer, right? So all this stuff kind of leads back to that, right? This all connects. Everything that I'm teaching you here, it all connects. It's kind of the big picture. Because I guarantee you, like I said in the beginning, I bet you most of you have a ton of stuff on your hard drive that's going to make you rich. But you're not rich yet how you want to be, right? So what's missing? It's this stuff that I'm sharing with you is what's missing, okay? So yes, even you can do it. Everyone can light the fire to their desire. Everybody can do this, okay? All right, we're going to talk about the 2 words that Navy SEALs live by for success. They are extreme ownership. These are the 2 words that Navy SEALs live by for massive success. I learned about this by listening to a book by 2 Navy SEALs called Extreme Ownership. This is recommended homework for all of you. One way or another, get your hands on this book. And I would recommend doing it also with the Think and Grow Rich book. I have an Audible account. I don't listen to music. Sometimes I do, but 90% of the time I have a 15-minute commute to my office. The only time I listen to music is when I work out. I have a 15-minute commute to my office. I listen to an audiobook on the way there, on the way back, and then I take a 1-hour walk every day in the morning to start my day. I listen to an audiobook. So I'm always listening to this stuff. And there are some that I just listen to all the time, and I can share with those. There's like a 4 core that I listen to. I can share those with you. But I first learned about extreme ownership from Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. These are 2 Navy SEALs. This book changed everything for me. Because after going through the book, I finally realized that for me to take things to the next level, that I had to start taking extreme ownership. And what that means is I had to stop blaming the training courses. I had to stop blaming the softwares I was buying. I had to stop blaming the marketplace. I had to stop blaming my JV partners. I had to stop blaming my mentors. And I started to look within, right? A lot of us are really fast at pointing the finger at something else, but guess what? You got 3 fingers pointing back at you when you're pointing your finger at somebody else. You got 3 pointing back at you. And I started to just take extreme ownership in my business and why my business wasn't where it needed to be. And it wasn't because of those other people. It was because of me. And my business went from doing $500,000 a year. Once I started taking extreme ownership after going through that book, I just sat down and, I really it was a hard thing to do, to look in the mirror and say that the reason I wasn't where I wanted to be was because of me and not because of the market and not because of my JV partners and not because of my mentors and not because of this course and not because of that software. It was me. And when I did that, I started to dig in and I started to do these exercises, these 6 steps that I share with you. We started because we weren't doing that stuff. We weren't as serious about our business as we are now. Okay. And our business literally from one year to the next went from 500,000 to we were stuck in the $300,000 to $500,000 range for a long time, which I know for a lot of you is a lot of you think, Jesus, Anthony, that's plenty of money, but it really isn't after taxes and after expenses, and it's not as much as you think it is. $300,000 to $500,000 spends really quick. You're in a new tax bracket, and you usually to get to that point, you've got some employees, and it spends a lot faster than you think it does. Okay. So, and I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to explain to you that it's important to continue to want to strive for more, because with more money that we make too, we donate more money. Okay. My wife and I donated almost $50,000 this year to charities, children's charities, domestic abuse shelters. We donated to some Christian charities overseas where Catholic people are struggling over in the Middle East because they're persecuted by Islamic terrorist groups. We've donated. So the more money we make, the more money we donate. And our goal this year is to start a children's foundation for children here in the U.S. The only overseas charity that we donated to was the Catholic charity that was struggling with being persecuted by Islamic terrorists. But we really want to focus on here in the U.S. of A. and people that are struggling here in the United States of America, especially children. My wife, before she came to work for me, she was a social worker helping children that were abused by parents who were addicted to drugs and forgotten by parents who were addicted to drugs. And she gave me a taste of that world. I went on some cases with her, and break your heart what little kids, the things that little kids out there are going through. And so our goal this year is to start a charity for kids here in the United States that are struggling with parents who are addicted to drugs and are neglecting their kids. So, the more money we make, the more we can give. So it's not about me being greedy. It's just also about us helping other people, and the more money we can make, the more we can just give back and I can have more time to give back and helping other people who are struggling in their business have success. So I still take extreme ownership of my business. It hasn't stopped. I take extreme ownership of my business every single month when we sit down and we work on making up money. Every single month, we're taking extreme ownership in our business, and we're looking back on our previous month and what we did wrong and what we need to do this month coming up. And every month we do better and better. We just grow a little bit every single month. We'll grow a little bit. And that little bit that we grow every single month, it compounds at the end of the year. And now I'm very clear about where we're going to be in 5 years. So like that 5-year number, like if you just did this for 30 days, every 30 days for the next year, at the end of 2017, you're going to be very clear on what your 2018 is going to look like. And then you're going to be very clear on what your 2022 is going to look like, because you now have record keeping of your 2017. You've been doing it every month, right? You've been looking back on your numbers and you're looking ahead for the next 30 days. And after a year, you're going to know exactly what your 2018 is going to look like. And then you're going to know exactly what your 5 years from 2018 is 2000, and geez, I can't even do my math right now. It's 2023. You're going to know what your 5-year number is going to look like, right? I mean, this is how you create the success that you desire. This is not as hard as you think it is. This is all being recorded. You can go back and you can watch this. But this is super important. The best software training ain't going to help you until you line up everything I've shared with you today. If you get off track and you look at the 6 steps to desire and you revisit them every single month like I'm telling you to do, their job is to keep you on track, right? It's their job. That's what they're there to do. It's okay to have accountability and take extreme ownership. You don't have to share this with the world. You just got to share this with yourself, right? And you got to beat yourself up. If you're not beating yourself up, you're not going to get to where you want to go. So the next step, like I said, the next step to desire is having faith in what you're doing. And this is where a lot of you, and I know this because I was in this situation. And again, I'm not like judging anybody, and I'm not trying to bust your chops and make you feel bad about yourself. A lot of you are floundering because you don't have faith in what you're doing, and you don't have desire, right? So the faith is what keeps you on track. And so how do you keep the faith? It's what we talked about, repeating your statement of intent, which is the 6th step to desire. Repeating your statement of intent every single freaking day when you get up and every single freaking day when you go to bed. The sight, the sound, the touch, the feeling, it creates emotion, which creates faith, which keeps you on track to getting what you desire. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. This is the real deal. Do not discount anything of what I shared with you. It's more powerful than any software training that you own or want to own. And, like what I've promoted to you all this past week is an amazing piece of software. Surplify is an incredible piece of software. You can create an incredible offer with that, either selling leads to businesses, either, putting tracking phone numbers on there and forwarding the pay per call networks like Ring Partners, or building out sites for local businesses and flipping those sites that are loaded with content, right? So, and this is not a pitch for Surplify. This is just, if that's something that you invested in this week, that's to validate that you've got something. Create your 30-day plan with it, right? Like, don't go buy any shiny objects. Even if I send you something in an email this week, if it doesn't contribute to what we're doing, then don't buy it, right? You have to understand there's a lot of new people coming on my email list. I have over 40,000 people on my email list. It's impossible for me to know where everybody is on my email list, what level of intelligence they have, what they're doing in their business. So I'm like a reporter, right? And I'm reporting the news on stuff that's out there and stuff that I like and stuff that I think is going to help some people. If it doesn't fit for you, it's okay. Don't buy it. Like, you don't have to buy it. I'm not going to be hurt, right? But don't go buy something from somebody else either. If you have your 30-day plan and you know what you're going to provide for value and you know how much you want to make and you know how you're going to get there and you don't need anything else, then don't buy anything else. Okay? Just like focus on what you got to do till you get to where you want to be. Now, if something comes up that's going to contribute, like I told Alan today, because Alan's been with me for a long time, I told Alan today, the only thing that you should be investing in is something that you're going to be able to implement within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to add to what you're doing. If it doesn't add to what you're doing and you can't implement it in the next 2 to 3 weeks, don't buy it. So what I shared with you is what's going to get you through the tough times on your journey to success. This is really important because you're going to have a lot of distractions. You're going to have a lot of challenges. And this is how I stay on track. This is how I do it. Extreme ownership, the 6 steps every 30 days to creating desire. I keep the faith by repeating my statement of intent every single day when I get up and before I go to bed. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully you dug it. And I thank you for being here and believing in me and in yourself. And signing off with my usual yours for prosperity. So what I want to do now is answer some questions. And before I move and answer some questions, did this provide value for you? Let me know. Give me a 1 if this provided value for you and this helped you, like, maybe see some things that you got to tweak to help you get to where you need to be. Paul says yes. John says yes. Awesome. Mel says yes. Yes, absolutely, Lloyd. You totally can. Yep, you can do multiple ones in one autoresponder. Danny, yes, awesome. Alan, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Mark, thank you. Donnie, yes. Lloyd, yes. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to go grab some water really quick. Give me like 5 minutes. My throat's parched and I cooked through my water. I'll be right back. Think up of a question that you want to ask me. And I'm more than happy to answer your question. I'll be right back. All right. Let's see what we got here. What do we got for questions? Is there steps to doing this? Paul, what do you mean? Like the 6 steps that I shared? Did you get all 6 or did you not miss all 6? Or you want more than the 6? Oh, sweet, Mark. Thank you for that. I've had a terrible cough for like 3 weeks. I'm going to definitely get my hands on that. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Paul. Sure, Mark. 6 steps. Step 1, here, we'll come back here really quick. So step 1 is pick an exact number. Don't be fuzzy. Actually, yeah, so pick an exact number. You got to pick an exact number. I recommend 30 days. Don't do a year and don't do 5 years because it's just going to overwhelm you. It could be very daunting, right? Do 30 days every month for the next year. 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, right? So start February or start planning now for February. Plan March, plan April, May, June, July, August. By the end of the year, you're going to know what your 2018 is going to look like because you have a record of every month. I'll tell you something too, it's not going to, this gets easier the more you do it. Just like anything, right? Practice makes perfect. So you got to do this every month. I'm telling you, when you do, just don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as making up money because that's what you're doing. Like I know that everybody in here is a dreamer. I know that you all dream. You wouldn't be here if you weren't dreamers. You dream about success and desire and money and free time and spending more time with your family and traveling. You guys all dream about that. You guys and girls all dream about that. You're all dreamers. So think about this. Don't think about this as a task that you have to do every single month that sucks and it's boring and you got to sit down and plan. Don't think about it that way. Think about it as making up money, dreaming up money. Dreaming up money, right? Make it like a fun perspective, right? So that's step one, pick an exact number. Step two, know what value you're going to give in return. I gave a great example of, even as an affiliate marketer, how you can provide value. Step three, decide on your date so you can turn on your mind. You got to pick the date, so it's 30 days, right? So at the end of every month, you're going to hit this number. By the end of every month, you're going to provide this in value. What's your plan on how you're going to do it? Even if it's not perfect, just start taking action. The more action you take, the more perfect it'll be, right? Step five, make your statement of intent in writing, which is basically writing out your plan, your amount, your date, what you're going to give in value. Step six, read it out loud when you get up and before you go to bed. Okay. Let's see. I also made this, so this is Extreme Ownership. You can get this on Audible. It's Extreme Ownership. Super, super good. And then if you go, there's, I've got a video on YouTube about this too that you could watch over again. And, if you want to rip the audio, you can go ahead and rip the audio and just listen to this. Because I have it like in a shorter video. It's like a 9-minute video over here. Let's see. Here it is right here. Hello. I'm so... Okay, so I'll just give this to all of you so you can have it, and it's shorter. It's only 9 minutes. And you can rip the audio out of it. I'm also going to give you all the recording. I'm going to email this recording to everybody. All right, let's see. Yes, so Lloyd, you can totally have multiple related autoresponders on one website. Yes, absolutely. I just want to make sure that I got your answer out to you on that. Okay, so Paul can't figure out the domain setup thing, so Google footprint isn't left. How do you do that? Is there steps to doing this? Okay, gotcha. That's what the steps is that you were talking about. I can't figure out the domain setup. Okay, got it. So, so Paul, you're talking about, I'm assuming, building private blog networks, which is what I'm assuming you're talking about, which is like really, really complicated. I don't own any private blog networks because, and I'm a pretty smart guy, I just have other people do it. Like I buy links from people that have private blog networks and it works super freaking good. Like you can go and find people that build private blog networks on this website called Conquer.io is one place where you can go. I'm not spelling it right. Conquer.io. There we go. So you can go to Conquer.io and you can just type in PBN and you'll see all kinds of PBNs. And I'm going to have some, we'll talk about this more when we do the Simplify Immersion training this coming Saturday. We'll talk more about this. And I'm going to show you the weight loss site that I have. And I didn't build one PBN. I just got all my PBN links from Conquer. I just went in here and I started looking for PBN links, and you can tell who's good and who's not based on the reviews that they get. And you obviously want to pick PBNs that are like related to your niche. And in local, you don't even need that many links. Like you're only going to need a few backlinks, and you're going to crush it. So I wouldn't worry about trying to build a private blog network. That's, the only thing you need to, when it comes to a footprint, that's the only thing is if you're building private blog networks, you need to worry about a footprint, which you shouldn't really be building private blog networks. It's pretty complicated. And I just leave that up to guys that are obsessed with it and are really good at it, which is the guys that are here. You can also do Warrior Forum. PBN. So like Warrior, I can't type right now. Messed up my wrist this morning. warriorforum.com. So like you could do like weight loss PBN. And then like it should bring up like people who have PBNs in the Warrior Forum uh, that are offering PBNs that are in weight loss. But I always start at Conquer because this is where like the smartest SEOs are. I always start over here. This is, and SEO Clerks is pretty good. That's another place. But Conquer is where I get all my PBNs from. So just, like trying to build a PBN is going to take a lot of time to try to figure out how to do it. And it's like at the end of the day, speed of implementation is the most important thing. And you can buy these links for cheap. They're not a lot of money. And it's just going to be a lot less headaches for you. Unless you want to get in the PBN business and you want to start renting out PBNs, right? If that's what you want to do, then I'm not the guy to teach you that. You're going to need to like dig into you're going to need to like dig in and learn, what's that guy's name? Greg Morrison is probably one of the smartest guys when it comes to building PBNs out there. If that's something you want to do, that's the guy. Or Dory, what's her name? Dory. I forget her last name. What the hell is her name? Dory Friend. That's the other chick. She's pretty awesome when it comes to PBNs. She's a rock star. I hope that helps. I'm going to just be forthwith with you. I'm not even going to pretend to tell you that I know how to build a PBN because I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't want to build them. It's just way too complicated. I am going to take you up on that, Mark. That is an amazing tip. I appreciate that. Rob, thank you for this tonight. I am the proud owner of many shiny objects. I am too. I'm not, listen, this shiny objects, don't be ashamed. This is not about making you ashamed, you or anybody on here, because I'm a proud owner of a shite load of them. Don't ever be ashamed of that. Those shiny objects have got me to where I am today. So you're always going to get something out of it, right? All this knowledge that y'all are gaining, even if you buy even if you get one thing out of something that you buy, no one can ever take that knowledge away from you, ever, ever, ever. And that you may be able to one day use that piece of knowledge that the right thing could land right in front of you, and boom, you can make, I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me. I listen to a lot of webinars. I probably listen to more webinars than y'all do. I'm listening to webinars all the time. And the reason I do is because I can use that knowledge in so many different ways. Like I can apply it to so many different things. And if I can't apply something I just learned at that moment in time, I bet my bottom dollar that in the future, the knowledge that I just learned, I will be able to apply in one way or another. Like, for example, I don't know if any of you saw the presentation that I did on let me see if I can pull this up so I can give it to you, because all this knowledge that I got, all this knowledge that I shared with you all a couple of days ago on how big the local niche is just from me sitting on a bunch of webinars and listening to a bunch of people and then going and doing research on it. Which one is it? It was, this is a pretty good presentation. Anthony, come on. Why are you busting my nuggets right now? Anthony'sCoaching.com. This is all like stuff that I just learned by sitting down on webinars, and I didn't know when I was going to use it. I didn't know when I was going to apply it, but it just happened. So Rank and Rent Websites Worth Millions. I don't know if any of you saw this. I'll drop this in the chat box so that y'all can watch it. Just watch that, and a lot of the stuff that I picked up on that was just by me sitting in on a bunch of webinars and reading a bunch of stuff and acquiring information. So don't ever feel bad, Ron. It's all like, sometimes we're in a knowledge acquiring phase, right? So it's not about making you feel bad about yourself. It's just about now, making you realize what you have. It's time to turn that stuff into making money. And those 6 steps that I shared with you are going to help you do that. I know you can, if you rocked back in the days, you can do it again, man. I know, I got faith in you, dude. Please give the stick steps again. I already did that, Mark. I also gave the video. Hopefully that helps. Simplify offer, and what are your bonuses? Thanks. John, just check this out right here. This little presentation. Everything is on there. Plus, watch that presentation. It's short. It's good. It's really good. When cold call, you mentioned we work with partners that have partnered up with YouTube video or Yellow Pages ad. Do you have another way of a great foot in the door for cold calling, a great offer for renting sites or SEO? Honestly, that's my best one, man. That's kind of the one that I stick with. It's the one that's worked the best for me. So I really don't. The only other thing that's worked as like not as good as that, but has worked pretty good is sending a yellow confidential envelope. But the problem with that is you've got to spend some money on the yellow envelopes, and then you put a big confidential stamp on it, and you address it handwritten. It has to be handwritten, and you address it. You address it to the person that handles any kind of marketing, and then what you do is you basically you find people that are on the second and third page of Google, and you print up what the first page of Google looks like for that business, and you put a big red square around all their competition, and you basically say to them, how much money are you losing by not being here on the first page of Google, with a post-it note that says, hey, call me if you want me to help you, because I can help you get on the first page. The only thing about that is you got to just spend some money on sending out those envelopes. But when we used to do that, we had a separate cell phone number for it. We used to have a separate cell phone number for it, and then we knew when people were calling that they were calling off of that yellow envelope, so we always picked up the phone. That phone was with me all the time. But I've just gotten really good at picking out businesses out of the Yellow Pages and out of YouTube, and we just hit them up and we just do that pitch, and it works good for us. And sometimes the best way to start to help gain confidence is just focus on businesses that you're a patron of right now. So like, when I moved here, because we moved to Southwest Florida a couple of years ago, I had to get pool work done. So I got my pool guy, I got my maid, I had my house painted, $3,000 we had, and I bartered with them. So I bartered with my maid, we bartered with our painter, I bartered with my pool guy, I bartered with my pest control guy. I mean, if you add all this stuff up, it's like almost $600 a month that I don't have to pay. And we just help them with their video rankings, and we keep them up there. I bartered with my home inspection guy. And so in the beginning, you can barter with these people like that you're a patron of, and don't charge them anything. Just do it to them for free in exchange for them telling their colleagues about you, or you allowing to use them as a testimonial. And then what that will do is build confidence for you. Like, you'll just get confident and cocky because you're ranking for these people, and you're doing good, and like you can now show other people what you've done for businesses, and then they're also referring business to you. Like, Chris, you got to have a barber. Do your barber, man. Your barber could be the greatest source of referrals ever. My barber used to send me more business than I could handle. It got to a point, it got to a point where this guy, Best Orlando Barber, this guy was sending me so much business. At that time, we had a webinar that just took off, and I was really busy like servicing the webinar. So here it is right here, Orlando Barber, #1, Best Orlando Barber. I was so busy with the webinar and all the new customers we were acquiring from that webinar that I was not able to like take on all the clients that this guy was sending me. So a barber, like, think of all these businesses that you can barter with as referral sources. Do you get your teeth cleaned? Barter with your dentist. Say, hey, man, I'm not looking to sell you something, but, how I did it with him was I said, hey, dude, if I get you on the first page of Google, how about you just give me free haircuts for life, right? And it ended up being a good deal for him because I had to move. So he ends up getting this ranking forever, and he doesn't have to give me free haircuts anymore. But, the best way to do it is just tell him, hey, listen, I don't want to sell you nothing, but I would love to get a video of your business on the first page of Google. It's what I do for a living. If I can do that and get it on the first page of Google for you, how about you just take care of my teeth cleaning, for life, and I'll just keep it up there for you. And they're not going to say no to that. So teeth cleaning is like $50. And if they're doing any kind of SEO, it's a lot more than the $50 they're paying you. But now you have a dentist on the first page of Google that you can now go and get dentists in other parts of the country, right? Obviously, you don't want to get his competitors. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, John. This is a shop top question. Yeah, John, it's definitely the venue. Like, I've got like a locksmith domain and a water heated domain that I've been kind of just parked doing nothing with that I'm going to launch on Surplify. So it's definitely a fantastic piece of software. My intention with it is I want to get the locksmith site rolling, and then I'm just going to put my tracking number on it for now, and I'm just going to forward those tracking calls to a pay-per-call network, and I'm just going to wait for the site. I'm going to slap Google Analytics on it, and I'm just going to let the site do its thing. I'm not really going to build any crazy backlinks to it. The one thing I will do, which we'll cover when we have our Saturday call, is I'm going to build a syndication network for it, but that'll cost like $30. I'll have somebody on Conquer build me the top 20, 30 social sites for it, build out the profiles, have all the backlinks, link to the ourlocksmith.com website, and then I'll put some content on those social signal sites to hit back to my site, and then I may build some PBN links to it, but I'm not going to do that until like way later. Like, I want the site to get built out with content and be robust first. Get Google Analytics, start seeing what happens with it, let the data come in, and then start reacting to the data. And then I'm not really going to worry about calling clients at first. I'm just going to forward the calls to a pay-per-call network, and I'm not going to make as much money as if I rented the pages out. I would make way more money if I rented the pages out, but at first I'm really just looking to get critical mass with it and get traffic with it. And then I'm going to start worrying about tweaking it and tuning it up. And ideally, I may even sell the site. Like, if I'm generating pay-per-call, if that site generated $1,000 a month in pay-per-call affiliate commissions, I could turn on and sell that site for 12, 15 grand on Flippa. And y'all can look me up on Flippa. I've sold quite a bit of sites, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. So, with Surplify, if any of you have not gotten the commercial license, you should get it, because it's I think upgrade number 2. You should get it because it's going to allow you to build out sites and flip them. So I've got that link sitting here somewhere to the upgrades. It's going to allow you to build out the sites and flip them, which I highly recommend, because you may want to do that. You may want to, this thing is going to build sites. It's going to be able to throw content on sites so easily that you'll be able to, build one out. Like our locksmith is an age domain. I bought that domain. I can show you that on our immersion class on Saturday, like how I bought that domain. It's an age domain. It has a ton of authority. And so here's one of my mentors, Tom Merza. This guy's worth $500 million. He's one of my mentors. I spend a fortune with this guy. Let me see. Where is it? I know I got it here somewhere. But I'll show you how to buy the age domains on I'll show you how to buy the age domains on our immersion class. These are the links to the different upgrades. I would recommend at least getting upgrade number 2, because you can get the reseller's license and you can build sites and flip them. So you can go, there's tons of age domains that you can buy for cheap and local that businesses buy and they let them go, and they're old and they're not beat up with backlinks. They're beautiful domains. You can buy them for cheap, like $50, and you can slap up, like our locksmith is an old domain, so I know that all I'm going to really need to do is throw up some content on it and get my social signals going, get some citations going, and that site's going to start generating some traffic. And then I'm going to forward the links. I'm going to forward my call tracking number to an affiliate network, start generating some cash, and I may flip it or I may not. I may build it out. I don't know. But like at the end of the day, I like to have the option of being able to flip it if I decide to do that, because then I can just go build another one and then go flip that one, you know? So flipping sites is fun. Love flipping sites. It's a fun business. So I hope that helps, Sean. I mean, we could talk about that for hours, and we're going to do that on Saturday. As a Simplify customer, if you bought through me on Saturday, we're going to be going over that this coming Saturday. Well, that call will be completely focused on kicking ass with Simplify and what I'm going to be doing with it and exactly what you need to do with it. Tony, thank you. Donnie, what do you think of this keyword? Is that a domain you want to buy, Donnie? I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin it for you. But you have the word Google in there, so you're going to get yourself into some trouble. They will send you a cease and desist letter, and they'll make you forfeit the domain. So don't buy anything with the name Google in it. But, you know, see if, take out the word Google and see if that's available. That's a pretty good name. I don't know what you're trying to do with it, but that's a pretty good name. If you take out the Google, it's a good name. Oh, Paul has left. Tony, Simplify bonuses for any emails. Can you please put Simplify in the subject line? Thanks. I think I'm not explaining it correctly. Okay, he has left. Paul left. Sorry, Tony. I apologize for that. I think I did that in tonight's email. And you know, we're having email issues. I apologize if you have already bought Simplify and you're getting emails from me about Simplify. One of the things I try to do is in every email that I sent, even if you bought it, I try to still provide value. Like in the last email I sent, I gave you the presentation on ranking and renting websites that are worth millions of dollars. You know, even if you bought Simplify, that's something that you still needed to watch, right? Because it's going to validate everything that you're doing with it. So the reason we're just having a lot of problems right now with our email systems. So we're not able to properly segment people. And it's also hard to segment people when it's not your own product because I don't have access to the thank you page because I'm not the owner. So it makes it really hard for me to segment who has bought and who hasn't. And so sometimes you're going to get emails even if you bought. And I really apologize for that. It's not my intention. If that does happen, and Tony, I know that you're not saying that this is happening. I'm just bringing this up because you brought this up and it just made me think of it. So, you know, I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass when I keep sending you stuff. I am trying to add value every time I send you an email if it's something you already bought. So just know that I'm doing my best and I know about it and I'm frustrated that I can't segment you out. But we're having like massive email system issues. We use several email providers and they're all having problems right now. So it makes it really, really hard to deal with it. But I will do that, Tony, yes. I'm probably just going to send out a couple more emails tomorrow because the offer's they're going to go crazy. The price is going to go up like tremendously. So I'm going to just send a couple of emails to remind everybody that it's going up. If you haven't gotten in, now's the time. Mark, you will get paid in public what you practice and rehearse in private. Thanks for the great education. I didn't buy Simplify OTOs. Does your bonus training enough to manage it? Yeah, absolutely. Bonus training is enough to manage it, CB. The guys from Simplify are launching a $497 course on how they do six-figure affiliate promos. And it's like every promo that they do six figures. So they're doing this whole training on how they do that. And so they gave me permission to give that as a bonus if you get a couple of the OTOs, a couple of the upsells. So if you decide to do it, but this is not like I'm just providing those links because someone else was asking. I am not here to pitch. It's not my goal to pitch. I really just wanted to provide value tonight. I was just answering someone else's question about the OTOs, so I hope that you understand it wasn't like a pitch. But yeah, everything you like, if there is an OTO that you decide to buy, if any of them, you should get the commercial license, which I think is upgrade number 2, because it will just give you the ability to sell it as an asset, which you would want. Let's say you, like me, if I decide I want to sell the site, and I got someone who's, like it becomes a $20,000 site, I'm going to sell it, especially if I know how to build another $20,000 site. Why the heck not, right? You can at least keep it until you get another. Like if you know you have a site that's worth 20 grand that you built out, wouldn't it make sense to go build another one and get that one up to 20 grand, and then you can sell the first one after the second one's worth 20 grand, and then go build a third one, and then get the third one up to being a value to 20 grand, and then go sell the second one, right? Makes sense, right? So if you're going to buy any upgrades, at least buy upgrade number 2, because it'll give you the ability to resell the site. There's also a reseller's license. Don't confuse that. That's upgrade number 3. You don't need to buy that. The reseller license is if you want to resell Surplify as a software and you want to keep 100% of the profit. So if you don't want to be, like, let's say instead of being an affiliate for it, you want to own the product, the software, and resell it. If that's not something that is in your intentions of doing, do not buy upgrade number 3. Upgrade number 2 is the one that I highly recommend that everybody needs to get their hands on, because it gives you the ability to sell your site that you build out. I hope that doesn't confuse you. That is probably the most important one to buy. Nice, Ron. Is that working for you? That does work, and I also do that. I do that after we get to the ranking. Yes, we embed the video on the email. Yes. The mistake I see people doing with email outreach is they're using a shotgun approach, and they're just shotgunning all kinds of businesses. When what they need to do is they need to be targeting hyper prospects, and hyper prospects are people that are advertising on stupid, I just call it stupid advertising, like yellow pages, park benches, billboards, sides of buses. So those are like the people that you should send emails to. Those are hyper prospects. And what you want to do is get them, you don't want them to get, a lot of people think that you're trying to get them to spend more money with you. And so people struggle with getting someone to spend more money with them. What I tell them is, hey, listen, I don't want you to spend more money with me. All I want you to do is redirect the money that you're spending on that park bench. Instead of spending $500 a month over there on that park bench that isn't getting you any calls, how about you spend $500 a month over here on getting, 40 videos on 40 page one rankings for $500 a month. All right, people are actually coming over here and they're typing in. You're going to get more people typing in over here under these 40 page one rankings than you are on this one park bench that's sitting over here under a tree. Right, so let's just redirect the 500 that you're spending over there, and let's try this instead. You've been trying this. Have you gotten any calls from it? Most likely no, right? So why don't we just redirect that money over here to doing this instead of trying this out? You got nothing to lose. You don't have to pay me until I get you the rankings, right? See, that's an irresistible offer, right? That's what I'm talking about, crafting a good offer, right? I'm glad you brought that up, Ron. It allows me to go a little bit deeper on that. But yes, I love doing the emails. I just do hyper prospects when we send our emails out. I don't do like a shotgun like everybody else does or teaches you to do. We do a very hyper, it's very hyper targeted who we send emails to. Mark, any tips on how to find older domains? I use expireddomains.net. If you're a Surplify customer, we're going to go over this on Saturday. But I use expireddomains.net, and then I just type in the niche that I want, and it brings up a whole bunch of domains, and then I sort them out by how old they are first. I want to look at the oldest domains first, and then I want to make sure that they don't have any backlinks on them, and I want to make sure that they're clean. I would rather just have a really old domain with no backlinks, or if it has backlinks, they're related to the domain, maybe 5-6 backlinks. Nothing spammy, nothing with 500 backlinks. If it's 500 backlinks, I would like for it to be like internal backlinks, like it was a site that had 500 pages and all the 500 pages are linking back to the homepage. That's acceptable. But like if it's like, 500 backlinks from a whole bunch of like sites that are not related, I don't want that domain. But just go to expireddomains.net. It's really badass. It's free. You just go in there and you can type in like, your niche, and it'll bring up a whole bunch of names, and then you sort it out by how old they are. And I just start looking at the oldest ones first. And I've gotten some crazy domains for like $40 and $50. Let's see. No, Ron, we did not have any phone support. I wish we did. We're just not there yet. Our goal this year is to get our response time down even more. We're going to add another person to cover the desk on the other hours, and maybe at the end of the year we might be there where we can add phone support. Unfortunately, it just adds a whole nother dimension of complexity to our business, because the people right now that are on the desk are really dealing with access issues. Anything that they can't answer gets escalated to me, which means that if they can't handle a phone, I'm going to be getting a lot of phone calls, and then that means I'm not going to be able to get anything done, which then means I won't be able to work in the lab, which then means I won't be able to report good stuff to you. Yes, Lloyd, there will definitely be a replay. As soon as I hang up, I'm going to render it and get it out as fast as possible. Nice. Those are good domains, Danny. Oh, I like the CFE one. That's a really good one. I love them. I would probably start with the CFE one first. I'd probably build that one out first. And then I think I would do. I would build them all out, but you can't build them all out at once. You probably could if you focus on getting one built right first, and then go back and build the other two. I would start with the CFE one. I like that one. It's a really good domain, dude. I don't want to say it because I just don't want to give away your niches. Awesome, Danny. Smart move. Buying the commercial license. What do you think of adding call to action phone lead capture software like Bounce Help? Yes, I think that's a great idea, Aaron. Absolutely. Nice, Ron. So I appreciate you sharing that. So Ron is saying that he is embedding a video inside of an email that he sends out that shows them the rankings, and then he also embeds a testimonial too. And Ron's been a long-time client of mine as well, and he's a fantastic guy. And he has just been very focused and chipping away, and I'm really proud of what you've accomplished, man. You just haven't given up. I love that, dude. I'm sorry, CB. I thought OTO2 was the commercial license. Maybe it's OTO1. Just check all three of those links and look for the one that's the commercial. I'm sorry if I got that confused. It wasn't intentional. Mark says it's OTO2. Yeah, dude. Danny, of course, validation is very important. Very important. We all need validation in what we do. It's very, very important. It's critical. I haven't, I was really excited when I saw the software come out. That's why I spent so much time telling you all about Simplify and creating so much content for it. It's because I haven't seen anything else like it. And I was just really excited about it because I know what it was going to do for my business and some of these dead domains that I've got out there that I just haven't had time to get to. So it just got me excited, and obviously my excitement conveyed. So I say we wrap things up. We're at the 2-hour mark, or getting at the 2-hour mark. I want to get this video rendered so that I can try to get this out tonight. A 2-hour video is going to probably take an hour to render. So I'd love to get this out to everybody tonight. Thank you. I really hope that y'all got a lot of value out of this. I'll provide the slides to this. So I will get the video out. If for some reason you don't get the email, hit up my support desk. It's easy to remember. It's anthonyaires.helpdesk.com or myproducthelpdesk.com. They go to the same place. I'll put the slides under the video with a link so that you can download them and you can have them. You don't have to go through the whole damn video if you don't want to. I would also, you know what I'll do too? I will give you all the audio, the MP3 too. So you'll have a video, you'll have a PDF, and you will have an MP3 link under the video so that you can rip it and you can listen to it whenever you want. If you need me to kick you in the butt and keep you motivated, I will definitely provide that for you as well. It's all in an effort to create more success. And my only thing that I ask is that you promise me that if anything that I have told you has helped you, that you please just let me know, make me feel good about myself, and allow me to interview you so that we can inspire other people to kick ass, right? Because that's what it's all about, paying it forward. So just promise me that if I have done something for you that helps you kick butt, you let me know. And I have the opportunity to interview you. Please provide the chat and links. Well, what do you mean, Jim? The chat and links. I won't be able to give you the links in the chat because I still have to I have to render this video. So like when I hit end, the video still has to convert from a GoToWebinar file into an MP4 file. And then I can convert it into an MP3 audio file, and then I can get the slides, and then I can upload everything to the server. And so here, Jim, if you don't get an email from me, if it makes you feel better, just do this right now. Go to http myproduct. I'm going to put that in the chat. Go to myproducthelpdesk.com and just send in a ticket to my desk. Can I get the replay to tonight's webinar that Anthony did? The webinar on the Navy SEALs, the Navy SEAL webinar. So my support desk knows what to ask for. Just ask for the Navy SEAL webinar when you hit up my support desk. Just do that right now when we hang up so that you don't worry about forgetting, and in case the email never makes it to you. That way you got a ticket that's on record with my support desk, and you will definitely get the audio, the video, and the PDF. Awesome, Alan. I'm glad I'm able to pump you up. You got a double doozy today. You got me in the morning and you got me in the evening. It's awesome. So yes, so make sure y'all do that. If y'all want, it's okay to hit up my desk. If you're worried about not getting the email, just hit up my desk and let them know that you want the replay, and I'll make sure to get everything over to you through the desk. All right, over and out. Appreciate y'all. Check you later.